Please, yes, please.
So good morning, sir. I'm Deepthi from Curious Times. I welcome you on Curious Times platform today, and we're working with you to come up with a magazine called the Ed Leaders. And we believe that you should be a part of the Ed Leaders, and this magazine would have been incomplete without some of your inputs and other leaders. And through the means of this conversation, we want to know about your journey, and we would want to know the inspirations you have, the challenges that you talked about, and how do you want the new generation to shape up their careers in the teaching profession, and your message for your children.
I would
So
love to.
welcome,
I think,
and
I,
let
first
let
of
me
all,
know you a little bit first. Maybe you can talk about DPS Raipur a little bit, and then we can
yeah.
talk about you.
First of all, it's just very confusing where to start from because there's so much to speak on. Because so much I felt in my life in past 33 years of teaching experience. First of all, how I came to this and why I become a teacher. This is very important thing in my life. And if you permit me, I start.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
1987, I did my master's in electronics from Jabalpur University. And my father had retired from a very small job. And I wanted some money to have in my pocket because going to college on bicycle and then meeting friends, sometime having a cup of tea or samosa or aloo banda, because you needed at least 12 to 15 rupees. And one more extra rupees to get my bicycle's tire air filled, pressure filled. So it was a challenge. So I wanted a job. And so I thought after doing this master's, I would do some job and earn some money for me and for my family and support them. So I got a good job offer, and my father was not happy because I was given a chance in Mumbai. And my father was unhappy. And so I asked him, what's wrong with you? Why don't you want your son to earn good money? He said, you have done electronics masters, and I don't want you to go out and sell tobacco. So I said, I need some money. So he said, you get enrolled in MPhil in electronics. And alongside, if you want some money, then do some part-time teaching. So I was a little fortunate to get an opportunity to teach in a convent school in Jabalpur. And while I started teaching, there was 700 rupees per month salary, working from 7:30 to 3 p.m. So it was quite a tough call for me. But while teaching, I realized that I was made to be a teacher because the way students responded, the way parents respected, uh, the way they gave board results. So I was convinced that this is the job that I can do in my best way. So this is how I was into this because I was inspired by my father. And then one other thing I very strongly feel, teacher is mostly born, it's not prepared to be a teacher. And how I was born as a teacher, I wish to share with you, if you permit me, is a little personal, but it can inspire many teachers and many students. I was around 3 years old, and we lived the first floor of a very old building in a small place of Madhya Pradesh called Jabalpur. So from the cracks of the parapet wall, I could see number of children going somewhere in a group at a particular time, say 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 and 12 of them, and they used to chatter and then walk. And I used to watch them every day. So one day I decided that I'll join them. So I went and asked them, where are you all going? They said, it's school. I did not have very great concept of a school by that time. So I observed that they all carried a small thela bag. And When we are kids in Indian families, we're too young, but we are made to write on a slate with pencil, e, and there was no ABCD that time of young kids. So one day I took my slate and pencil and quietly slipped away and ran away from home and joined that group and reached a nearby small school.
Right.
And all children, kids is school. And the teacher saw me, but did not utter a word, did not ask me, who are you? Why did you come here? And she kept teaching. I forgot what I learned and what not. But I remember her smiling face. When the recess bell rang, the kids opened their bags and they got a little tiffin. And somebody bought chapatis wrapped in a piece of cloth also. And I had no idea about this tiffin. So I was sitting quietly. Then that teacher asked me to come close, and I went to her, and she asked me, "Have you brought a tiffin?" I had said nothing because I did not understand. And then she made me sit on a lap, and she gave me chapatis to eat me from her tiffin. यहाँ एक टीचर पैदा हो गया उस दिन. I was born the second time in my life as a teacher, and very auspicious and precise moment that was for me, because she touched my life, she touched my soul, and she converted a human being into a superhuman being as a teacher. So from that day, I knew a teacher is not a normal, common human being. A teacher is a superhuman being. So this is how I came to this profession. And now I'm open any question if you wish to ask, and I would love to respond.
Sir, that's very inspiring. It's giving me goosebumps. It's like really inspiring how you get inspired by other teachers to become a teacher. And I think the whole episode that you talked about is can only lead to that. Like there's so much of sort of, without being in that situation, I can just express my gratitude towards that lady who actually brought you into this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is a very good sort of very different inspiration from whatever I spoke to so many other school leaders. I think I think I'm a little speechless. So I think my next question for you would be like, once that you set out yourself that I'm going to be teacher, and you went ahead with your MPhil, and you kept sort of also teaching. Uh, Teaching at the end of that, it comes out with many people with lesser remuneration, and like a little bit of dissatisfaction that, oh, I could have been this, etc. So you would have also your set of challenges and stereotypes that you had to break in order to stay in the profession and do well thereafter. So help us understand some of those challenges, because obviously something like this would also mean would also inspire a few others to look at the whole thing very differently. So
My challenges, you wish
yeah,
to know what
yeah,
are challenges I faced.
yeah.
One thing I, through your this medium, wish to convey to everyone: whenever we start anything, and if it is not very easy and finding it difficult, it means it's going to take you to your goal. That's for very sure, because we see so many failures, and any project we start with failures, we should celebrate, because those failures makes us a better learner, a better performer, and we prove it with time. So when I was teaching at that school was around 20 some kilometers from my home, and I had a bicycle to ride and to reach that school, and then teach there till 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then straight from that school go to university to attend my MPhil project work, and then work, and then in the evening come out of the university by 5:30 and go straight to a coaching institute to teach there and to earn little more money. So this was on for 2 years. And by the time I came back home, it was 9 p.m. So I stayed, went to the bed. I had no energy to talk or eat. So sometime I had a chapati or two and ate. And while going to school at 6:15 in the morning, you can imagine central India during winters extremely cold. So that was not possible for my family members to provide me a tiffin. So on the way, I had to stop and pay at a fixed up in a small little dhaba sort of place, 10 rupees per day, is to give one small glass of milk and one pav jalebi. And I realized that if you take jalebi and milk in the morning, it lasts with you at least for 4 and 5 hours. You have filled. Honestly speaking, I did not have money. I did not have courage to ask my father, retired father, to give me money every day.
Mm.
So, and when I went to school, I was so much loved by colleagues who worked, most of them being a convent school, it was dominated by lady staff. So every day somebody made sure they gave me something to eat from the tiffin. So from very beginning, I found so many mothers and so many sisters in my life who supported me from their university to coaching, and then again coming back to home night. So like this, I worked for 2 years, and working in a convent school is not easy because you sweat your blood out when you teach 8 out of 8 or 7 out of 8 classes every day without a gap. But so many friends of mine suggested that time, don't do this job, this is an exploitation. But I had, honestly speaking, no other option but to carry on. So I worked for 2 years, and here I want to convey a strong message to everyone. All others saw that I was exploited, but I saw this as an opportunity for me. I worked, I taught physics day and night. And then I got an opportunity, a call from Sindhya School, Gwalior, to appear for an interview in Claridge's Hotel, Delhi.
Mm.
I appeared there. They were NCRT experts of physics. They gave me some numericals to solve, and I smiled. I said, sir, this numerical is from this book, this page, and this is the answer. And they thought I was joking. So then they asked, how are you so sure about it? I said, every day, at least for 5 to 7 hours, I teach physics and do nothing in my life. So that hard polishing in that school, convent school, then working in coaching classes, it made me masters of physics. Then I was selected in Sandhya School, Gwalior, where I spent almost 16 years. And then I decided to marry a teacher because my graduation, I had a stream of instruction as Hindi. So it was very difficult for me to change into English. So I thought, when I have a child, who will teach my child to speak good English and learn good English? So I had thought, if I marry, then I'll marry a teacher who teaches English. So by the grace of God, I found a wonderful lady who was a teacher of English, who came as a teacher of English. And initially, I was very offended with her because every day she would defeat me on table tennis. And it was quite a challenge to defeat her, which I could not do till today. But I found a wonderful life partner who, like my mother and my father, please note it, I really value this, who, like my mother and father, kept on inspiring me till date. I have a wonderful one son who is a voracious reader, a very good speaker in English language, is a musician. So it was wonderful for me. So my main challenge was to meet with my requirement, little money. And that difficulty, believe me, the shortage of money gave me success. If I had a big car, my father was a rich man, if I drove to that school with that car, honestly speaking, the urge or the determination to achieve success in life would have never come to me. And still, I am trying to improve every day. So I feel, the first of all, if we meet with difficulties, then only we succeed.
Right.
Most of us, because in the language of physics, if there is no friction in life, the movement will be directionless. You cannot control. Yeah. So friction is life is required, which mostly we realize after we have crossed that hurdle. So this was my limitation and difficulty. What I first said, I came from a reasonable poor family. I'm very proud about it because lack of money filled us with values. My mother, my father, they gave me a lot of values for hard work, for honesty, and to respect others. And hence, I become a teacher. When I became a teacher, I realized how heads performed. And I'm talking about something 30 years back, and probably in recent time as well. I would not comment with great authority that head of an institution, they always thought that they are like gods, and their colleagues, they termed them as subordinates.
Right.
I never wanted this. I had to, just a minute, I just take a call and
Yes,
I'll
yes,
get back to this
absolutely.
call.
Mm.
I'll just get back to you. I'll just take a call. Good morning, sir. That's what I was talking.
Yes, so we were discussing about the inspiration to the teachers.
Yes. So I was talking about headship. So what I felt that uh, uh, in Indian context, if you see the principals and headmasters, they create an aura around them. What I felt, I can be wrong. Yeah, this is what I felt in my life. And honestly speaking, to get leave sanction, we had to wait and we had to beg. So many things happened. And then I got an opportunity to go and teach in a school in England, which is one of the oldest school in England, Ellesmere College, Shropshire.
Mm.
And when I reached there, I had actually in India learned to behave like a teacher as a subordinate of my boss. Yeah. So हम गुलामों जैसे ही behave करते हैं ना. So when I went there, and so headmaster called me for a cup of coffee in his chamber, and I went there. So headmaster got up to make coffee. I said, no, this is not done, not done. I will make my coffee. This is so he was a bit surprised. So when he took the tray and bring it, said, no, no, I will do it. I will do it. And then the next day we were at lunch in the dining hall. So I took my tray and poured food and sat. And suddenly I saw the headmaster also walked in and took a tray and plate and then poured food. And he came and sat in front of me. So the moment he sat, I stood up. So then he asked me, well, why are we standing up? I said, you came, so what? I said, I'm giving respect. Well, this is not the way to give respect in this country. So I realized they have a lot of sense of equality, where in our country we do not have a sense of equality. And I always had thought that if I become a headmaster of a principal, I will convert these subordinates into my colleagues and an institution into family. I'm very happy, I'm very proud that today Delhi Public School Raipur from a institution has turned into a family, where we have a lot of equality. We have almost around 200 teachers. I would say 90% are lady staff. And when it's a day school, when I stand outside in the morning and see students coming by buses and teachers are coming, and I see teachers, lady teachers have a lot of frown on their faces, because they also have in their mind whether they have prepared the tiffin properly for their husbands or not, whether the electricity bill paid or not, whether LPG cylinder is still would last or not, whether in-laws were given medicines or not. So whether their wards bags were prepared or not for his school. So they come with a lot of frown. So very first day taking over as a principal of this school, I promised them, that when you come to school, you bring a frown. I make sure that you go back, you carry a smile back home. If I do this, I'm successful. Honestly speaking, I do not take rounds to see what teachers are teaching. I do not see their lesson plans, because I tell them that you are the boss of your class. Do what you think the best you can do for the students. And this is the secret of success and happiness of DPS Raipur.
Yeah. Wonderful. I mean, it's I think personal sort of experiences teach us much more than anything else. They lead, and it's absolutely true. They lead us to two directions. One is that we can become one like them. The other is we can think of changing what we felt at that stage and changing according to that. So I think your journey is very inspiring in that sense that you took a decision to make an equal organization for your all your staff. And I mean, I've been in corporates. We are mostly used to giving equal treatments also. Like it's a part of our job and we are evaluated on that. Like we're not supposed to be bossing around. And rightfully, uh, the new generation also, people who work with us, they also expect equal treatment. So bringing that in your institute where you have the controls and the even though you are in the authority to do it, I think it's commendable. I must congratulate you. And
Thank
obviously,
you.
your staff is very, very fortunate to have found such a colleague in you. So
So I
that,
am, so I am.
yeah. So I think that's very commendable. Sir, now maybe a little different question. You've been teaching physics, a science teacher yourself, and now in last 4 5 years we've seen technology is taking a is playing a big role in terms of providing us a lot of content and accessibility to that content. uh, Things like YouTube and all have made a lot of difference, at least for the children who cannot afford. Some of these channels provide easy access to videos because they're free. But at the same time, from a teacher's perspective, there are a lot of resources that are coming the way to the teachers, which are available, easy access, cheaper, or in whatever fake form. Now that's available, given that where technology is playing a very large role, and with the pandemic, obviously the whole delivery system of the last mile delivery of this content is also moved on to technology. Now, what do you see as a role for the teachers as we sit in 2021 with all the development that has happened in last 4 5 years, especially last 1.5 year? How do you now define the teacher's role?
What I felt when I saw these changes, that from, as you initially said, from chalkboard to keyboard, yeah, it's a tremendous, huge change for this nation. Yeah, I saw it in England and in Germany, but in India, it is a very recent thing that happened last 4 5 years, and more specifically, last 1.5 year, because we always had these tools, but was not evenly and used all over throughout the country. But now it is in use. I think it's a very, very big support for teachers, because they can deliver their lesson in more effective way. Earlier, what happened in our classroom scenario, out of 40, 10 or 12 were very bright, whether you teach them or taught them or not. It made little difference to them because they were gifted kids. Yeah. And then 15 of them, they worked hard and they came up to that mark. So it is 25 out of 40. They were going all right with that old system. But the rest 15, they had no clue what happened in the class, and they had no support. Yeah, they were shy. They were not that what that academic acumen they had. They had different challenges back at home. So all these things, those 15 to 20 students, they were a struggle. And later, what happened? They were not in the mainstream. Yeah. But this digital platform, when came, it did wonders. So I feel today is a very big opportunity for at least 35 out of 40 students to compete with each other on academic front. And now I talk about what happened with the teachers. Initially, we always say no to any change. If any change comes, we say no. It's a human tendency. Because if you go back to the pages of history, When this trains were started to travel from one place to another place, people said, "अरे इसको मत use करो, गाय कट जाएगी, accident हो जाएगा, bridge गिर जाएगा, मर जाएंगे." But you see, today we all use railways for to commute from one place to other. Second, another example, LPG. When it came, people said, "घर में आग लग जाएगी, लोग जल जाएंगे." It happened also, but now you say government says use LPG, don't burn wood. So change, we say no, but we accept change and we then get acclimatized and start using. So now teachers are using this technology. Initially they said no to this change. They said कि हम बोर्ड से बहुत अच्छा पढ़ा सकते हैं, आप पढ़ा सकते हैं, convenient है, but सारे बच्चे सीख नहीं सकते हैं. So basic objective of teaching in the class is to make sure that everyone learns. Using this digital platform, it has become much easier. Teachers did take time to learn, but now I feel that we all are masters of using technology. It's much faster, much better, much easier, and more comprehensive way to teach any and every subject.
Right, right. So, given that, do you like feel that teachers, so the information is all there, and so what do now the teachers need to sort of, gear up on, or what is their role? Because let's say once I am in seventh, eighth grade, I have mastered some bit of self-learning. Now there are tools available online. Now, how would you tell your teachers that this is what you need to gear up for? Like, the child can do everything at home. Reading book was hard, and watching a video and coming back to school is easy. So what's now the new role for teacher? What is your sort of, thoughts on that?
Honestly speaking, with arrival of this digital platform, the role of teacher has not changed. But now we need to guide our students to teach us that how much is too much. We need to know this and how much to do. And we inspire students, because now learning in a class is sort of research for them. It's not that I taught them A for apple and they know just A for apple. They're A for what all things are there, they all can know. But how much do we do to create a balance between this use of technology and then to do other things? That's very important. So now as a teacher, we our responsibility probably has become more, because to keep a control on this exposure also is very important.
Right, right, correct. So, sir, I think those were our sort of questions from this magazine perspective. I think because I personally am very, very, delighted with your journey, and the way you have sort of, grown from your school days to now. I want to congratulate you. And
Thank you.
for this Teachers' Day, we know all our children are going to be, very super excited and sort of coming back to, would be coming to teachers to wish them. What is your blessings and message for your students, for the children on Curious Times, like, your last words to them?
For students,
Yes.
okay, we are in the 21st century, and we see the mode of education, learning and teaching changes with the need of the century, what's coming in the future. So and hence it's very important for the students to pick the 21st century skills for professional success, but keep always in mind our Indian culture and ethos that we need to keep intact. That's very important. And become a successful person with human values. That's most important thing I would wish to convey to my students, that become a successful individual with human values. Be emotionally and emotionally stable and physically strong. That's very, very, very important, because more intellectual things we are doing, what we are observing, that the students are becoming emotionally unstable. When I was in the school, or probably you were in the school, our counselor was our teacher's stick. And moment we saw that stick, we behaved all right. Now, in every school, there's a counselor. The students have their emotional issues, and they go and sit down in the behind the closed doors, and they talk. Still, they have problems. So that's why I conveyed this. Our students need to be physically strong and emotionally stable. They need to do things to earn happiness for them and for others.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so those pressures on them are humongous, both in terms of social pressures and technology also posing a lot of pressures, and then in terms of competition and career choices, and obviously there's a lot more competition than I would have imagined, right? So
I picked your word competition.
mm,
And another thing very important, uh, we have got the wrong definition of competition in the society. We are competing with others, whereas we should compete with our own abilities.
mm,
If I compete with my ability, then others will not come on my way.
correct.
That's simple thing students should learn.
Right, 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 right. I think those are the things which constantly, you need to sort of enforce on students, because they are very young. They don't have the experience and the life lessons which maybe an adult will have. They are, when at their teenage, they are navigating those pressures. Those are the kind of insights that we can bring to them, saying that, be yourself, just compete with yourself. Do not get into the pressures of people around you. Those are very valuable words, sir. Um, uh, I want to thank you for taking out your time on a weekend, and
Thank you.
having a conversation with us. On the occasion of Teachers' Day, I want to wish you and faculty and all your colleagues a very, very happy Teachers' Day. And
Thank you so much.
we wish you all a lot of success in your endeavors, and we wish to be associated with you for a longer time. And
Would be honor.
many
Thank you
congratulations
so much.
and happy Teachers' Day to you.
Thank you so much. And it's a wonderful talking to you and getting emotionally charged up. And it is a great experience. I would love to get associated with you in future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, Saj. Thank you.